Hello students, let's do decimal fractions exercise 4b. Exercise 4b is on page number 66. Question 3, simplify. First one, 28.796 minus 13.42 minus 2.555. One way that you can do this is take the first number 28.796 and then minus 13.42 from it. From that answer, you can minus 2.555. Now, generally what we do is, we write down the numbers that are given, we group them together. The addition and the subtraction, we group them separately. Now, here there's only one number with the plus sign, so that we can write it down as it is 28.796. Now, let's look at the other two numbers. This one has a minus sign, this also has a minus sign. So, what is the rule when signs are the same? When signs are the same, put the same sign and add. That means we have to put the same sign, which is minus, and we're going to add these numbers, that is 13.42 and 2.555. We're going to add up these numbers. Okay, so first let's add up 13.42 and 2.555. Okay, so when we do this addition, remember, we have to see that they are like decimals. So we're going to put a 0 here. So, and now we can add 0 plus 5 is 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, 4 plus 5 is 9, put the point, 3 plus 2 is 5 and 1. So what do we have? 15.975. So here we go back and write 28.796 as it is. And we're going to minus this answer that we got. That is 15.975. So let's write that down. 28.796 minus 15.975. So 6 minus 5 is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. Now here 7 minus 9 you can't do. So we borrow 17 minus 9 is 8. Minus 7 minus 5 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So what do we have? 12.821. 12.821. So this is our final answer. Question 2. Now here also the first number 93.354 has a plus sign. Then 62.82 we have minus, and again minus 13.045. So the first number we can write it down as it is. That is 93.354. Now the other two numbers have a minus sign before it. So the rule is, when signs are the same, put the same sign and add. So let's put the same sign and add up these two. That is 62.82 plus 13.045. So let's add it up. 62.82 and 13.045. Let's add it up, and here when we add, we need to make them like decimals, so put a 0. Now we can add. 0 plus 5 is 5, 2 plus 4 is 6, and then we have 8. Put the point, 2 plus 3 is 5, 6 plus 1 is 7. 75.865. So here 93.354 minus 75.865. So let's subtract these two. 93.354 minus 75.865. So they are like decimals, so we don't have to do anything else now. Let's just do the normal subtraction. 4 minus 5 you can't do, we need to borrow. So 14 minus 5 is 9. Then 4 minus 6 again you can't do, we need to borrow from 3. So 3 becomes 2 and this is 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. Again we need to borrow from 3 here. 3 becomes 2 and this becomes 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. You put the point. Now again we need to borrow. So this becomes 8 and this is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7 and 8 minus 7 is 1. So what do we have here? 17.489. And this is our final answer. Question 3. So here also we have it the same way. So let's write 36 first. And the other two numbers both have a minus sign before them. So when signs are the same, put the same sign and add. So we're going to put the same sign and we're going to add 18.59 plus 3.2. So let's add it up. 18.59 and 3.2. So let's make them like decimals and then do the addition. So we just have to put a 0. They become like decimals. Let's do the addition. 9 plus 0 is 9. 5 plus 2 is 7. Put the point. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have 21.79. So this is 36 minus 21.79. So we have to subtract these two. Now remember, 36 is a whole number. The whole numbers come before the point. That means if I have to put a point for 36, I should put it after the number 36. So now below this, let me write 21.79 and we're going to subtract these two. So before that, we have to make them like decimals. So let's put 2 zeros there. So now 0 minus 9 you can't do. So let's borrow from 5. From 6. So that becomes 5. This is 10. This becomes 9. And then we have 10 here. Now let's subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. Put the point. 5 minus 1 is 4. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So what do we have here? 14.21. So that's our answer. Question 4. So here we have plus 86 plus 16.95 minus 3.0042. So here we have two numbers with the plus sign. And what is the rule? When signs are the same, put the same sign and add. So here we just have to add 86 plus 16.95. And we have only one number with a minus sign. So we just have to write it as it is and subtract. So let's add up the numbers which is within brackets. Now 86 is the whole number. The point comes after the number. Then we have 16.95. Now we're going to add up these. Let's make them like decimals. So here we are going to put 2 zeros. Now they are like decimals. We can add it up. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 9 is 9. We put the point. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry 1. 8, 9, 10. So 102.95. So here we have 102.95 after adding. Now from this we're going to subtract 3.0042. So let's write it down. 102.95 minus 3.0042. Okay, so now we're going to subtract, but first remember to make them like decimals. So here we're going to put 2 zeros. Now let's subtract. We need to borrow. This becomes 4, 10, again borrow, so 9 and 10. Now 10 minus 2 is 8, 9 minus 4 is 5, 4 minus 0 is 4, 9 minus 0 is 9. Now this part, after putting the point, again 2, we have to borrow. So we're going to borrow from 1 and this becomes 10 and 9 and this becomes 12. Now 12 minus 3 is 9 and then here we have 9. So 99.9458. So let's write it here. 99.9458 and this is our answer. Question 5. Here we have plus 32.8 minus 13 minus 10.725 plus 3.517. So here what we'll do is we'll group all the like terms together. Let's take the numbers that have the plus sign before them. So 32.8 and 3.517. So let's put that in brackets. So when signs are the same, put the same sign and add. So we're going to add up these two. 3.517. Then let's take the other two numbers, minus 13 and minus 10.725. Again, the rule is when signs are the same, put the same sign and add. So again, 13 plus 10.725. So first let's add what's within brackets. The first set of brackets, that is this. Let's add up this first. So we have 32.8. and below that we have 3.517. Now let's make them like decimals by adding zeros. So here we're going to put 2 zeros. Let's add it up. 0 plus 7 is 7 and then we have 1. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry 1. Don't forget the point here. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And then we write 3. So after doing the first addition, we got 36.317. Let's put the minus sign and let's add up these two numbers now. So here we have 13. The point comes after the whole number 13 and below that 10.725. So we're going to add up these. Now let's make them like decimals by putting the zeros here. So now they've all become like decimals and normal addition. 5, 2, 7, 3 plus 0 is 3, 1 plus 1 is 2. So what do we have? 23.725. So now it's simple subtraction. So let's subtract the two numbers. 36.317 minus 23.725. 7 minus 5 is 2. Now 1, we can't minus it, so we're going to borrow. 11 minus 2 is 9. Again, 2 we can't subtract, so we're going to borrow from here. So this becomes 12. 12 minus 7 is 5. Put the point. 5 minus 3 is 2 and 3 minus 2 is 1. So that is 12.592. So we've got that. 12.592. Which is our final answer. Question 6. 4000 minus 30.51 minus 753.101 minus 69.43. So as you can see, there's only one number here with a plus sign. All the others have a minus sign. So let's write the first number as it is. That's 4000. And look at the other numbers. They all have a minus sign before them. That means when signs are the same, we put the same sign and we add. So let's group them all together, put the same sign and add. So that is 30.51 plus 753.101 plus 69.43. So let's add up all these numbers that's within the brackets. So that will be 30.51, 753.101 and we have 69.43. So let's add up all these. So before we add, remember we have to make them like decimals. So let's put the zeros to make them like decimals. Now here 1 we have, 1 plus 3 is 4, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, we carry 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 9 is 13, carry 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15, carry 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. So we have 853.041. So this is 4000 minus 853.041. So let's do that subtraction. Remember, 4000 is a whole number, so we put a point after the number. Below that, we're writing 853. Put it in the right place, 853.041. Now we have to subtract these two numbers. Let's make them like decimals. So I'm going to put 3 zeros here to make them like decimals. Now we're going to do our subtraction. We have to borrow all the way from 4. So 4 becomes 3 and this becomes 10. We're going to borrow again. So 9, 10, 9, 10, 9. Again we carry on. 10. We have 10 here. We're going to borrow from here. So this becomes 9, 10, 9 and the last one is 10. Now let's do our subtraction. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. Then we have 9 minus 0, that is 9, minus 9 minus 3 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 8 is 1 and then we have 3 here. So what do we have finally? 3146.959, which is our final answer. Question 7. So here we have this number with a plus sign. So here we have one number with a plus sign, one more number with a plus sign. And these two numbers have a minus sign. So when signs are the same, we put the same sign and we add. So here we have to add up these two numbers, that is 0.1835 and we have to add up 163.2005. Now let's take the other two numbers. Here also signs are the same. So we put the same sign and we add these two numbers. So 25.9 plus 100. So first let's add up these numbers which is within the first bracket. So that is 0.1835 plus 163.2005. So be careful with the way you arrange your numbers. Now these are like decimals, so we don't have to add any more zeros. Let's do normal addition. 5 plus 5 is 10, carry 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Then we have 8, 1 plus 2 is 3, put a point, then we have 3, 6 and 1. 163.3840. Let's write that. 163.3840. Now minus, now we have to work out what's within brackets here. So what do we have there? 25.9 plus 100. Remember 100 is a whole number, it will come before the point. Now let's make it like decimals by adding a 0. Now 9 plus 0 is 9. Then we have 5, 2 and 1. That is 125.9. So let's write it here. Now we have to subtract these two numbers, that is 163.3840 and 125.9. So let's do that. 163.3840 and then we subtract 125.9 from this. So let's do the subtraction. We'll make them like decimals. 0 minus 0 is 0, 4 minus 0 is 4, 8 minus 0 is 8. Now 3 minus 9 we can't do, so let's borrow. 13 minus 9 is 4, put the point. 2 minus 5 we can't do, let's borrow. So that's 5 and 12. 12 minus 5 is 7, 5 minus 2 is 3. So here we have 37.4840, or we can write 37.484 because the zeros after this don't really count. Question 8, here we have 38.00, so let's give it a plus sign. So this will be plus, and then we have minus 30 plus 200.200 minus 0.230. So now here what we're going to do is we're going to take the numbers that have the plus sign first. So what are the numbers that have the plus sign? 38.00 and 200.00. So when signs are the same, we put the same sign and we add. So we're going to add up these two. Plus 200.00. Then we're going to take the next two numbers, minus 30 and minus 230. So these two are numbers that have a minus sign before them. So we put the same sign and we add these numbers. So that is 30 plus 0.230. So let's add up these. So here first let's add up what's given in the brackets here. So that is 38.00 given to us plus 200.200. So let's add this up. So first let's make them like decimals by putting a 0 there. Now let's add it up. 0, 0, 2 point. Now here 8, 3, 2. So what do we get here? 238.200. We have minus. Now let's add up these. So this is 30, which is a whole number. So the point comes after the whole number. The next number is 0.230. So we're going to add up these after changing them to like decimals. So here we need to put 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. So let's add it up, 0, 3 and then 2. Put the point, then you have 0 and 3. So this is 30.230. So now let's take these two numbers, 238.200, and we have to subtract 30.230 from it through 230. So now let's subtract these two and see what we get. 0. Now here we need to borrow. So let's borrow from here 1 and this becomes 10. 10 minus 3 is 7 and again we need to borrow. So this becomes 7 and this is 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. Then we have 7 minus 0 is 7, 3 minus 3 is 0 and 2. So what is our answer here? 207.970. Now, since we have 0 at the end, it's not necessary to write that 0. So we just have to say 207.97. Question 9. Okay, so there are a lot of 5s here, isn't it? Let's look for the signs. So the first number will have a plus sign. And the second number also has a plus sign. So these are the two numbers that have plus signs. And these are the two numbers that have minus signs. Let's put them within brackets. So when signs are the same, we put the same sign and we add. So 555.555, we're going to add 55.555 to this. Let's take the next two numbers. Both have a minus sign before them. So when signs are the same, put the same sign and add. So 5.55 plus 0.555. Now let's add the first set of numbers. So that is 555.555. To this we're going to add 55.555. They're like decimals, so we don't have to add zeros there. We can just do normal addition. So let's begin. 5 plus 5 is 10, carry 1. 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 1, 11. Carry 1 again. 5 plus 5, 10 plus 1, 11. Put the point, carry 1. 10 plus 1, 11. Carry 1. 10 plus 1, 11. Carry 1. Now this is 6. So here what do we have? We have 611.110, and we're going to minus the next set of numbers, that is these two numbers. We're going to add it up and then subtract it from this answer. So let's add up 5.55 and 0.555. Let's add these two up now. Let's make them like decimals by putting a 0. Now add 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, carry 1. 10 plus 1 is 11, carry 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So what do we have here? 6.105, and we have to now subtract these two answers. So let's subtract now 611.110 minus 6.105. So let's put the numbers in the right places so that we don't go wrong with our answer. Now let's begin. 0 minus 5 you can't do, so we borrow from here. 10 minus 5 is 5. Then 0 we have here. Then 1 minus 1 is 0. Then we come here. 1 minus 6 you can't do, so we borrow from here. So here we have 11 minus 6 is 5. And then we have 0 and we have 6. 605.005. 605.005. This is our final answer. So let's stop with this for now, children. In our next video, we will continue with the remaining questions. Thank you, children.